Almal wil deesdae hulle eie groenteplant, water herwin en sommer alles doen om die planeet te red. Of sommer net lekker uit jou tuin te eet en die waterrekening laag te hou. Kyk net hoe maklik is dit in vandag se Groen Bulletin.
It all started when I was in America, quite a while ago, about 15 years ago, and I'd fallen in love with Mexican food. And I came back to South Africa and all you could get were little hot red chilies. And I wanted the jalapenos and the habaneros and all those interesting chilies that you couldn't get here. You could only get little hot red ones or long hot red ones. And the only way I could get them was to grow them myself. And so I dug up a little bit of lawn, threw in some seeds, and that year I had about 25 different chilies growing, and it was the beginning of all of this. My garden grew from that. I started growing all sorts of other things the next season, lettuces, tomatoes, etc., etc. And slowly all the rest was a natural progression. In our garden, we have a grey water harvesting system. Outside the ensuite bathroom, there's a JoJo tank, and all the water from the ensuite bathroom goes into that. And you have to be careful. I wanted to use the grey water for vegetables, but you can't just use grey water on the vegetables. You run the risk of getting diseases. It's a bit yucky. So it goes through a filtering system, plus there are a number of different methods that you can use, and the one that I've chosen is using beneficial organisms, which we add. It comes in a powder, and you add that once a week, and basically they get down to work inside the tank and they chow all the harmful organisms. By simply collecting the water in a couple of JoJo tanks, you've got water to use for those things like washing the car, for watering your garden, for filling your pool, all of those things, and you're using water that would be just running away and being wasted. Our water bill has been remarkably reduced, especially when you have those dry gaps, you know, in summer, where I would normally, especially with veggies, I would have to water them. The rest of my garden is very water-wise, and I don't have to really water it much at all. But I do have to water the hungry vegetables in the middle of summer sometimes. One of the favorite parts of my garden is actually a movable part. It's my chicken tractor right here, and it's called a chicken tractor because my hens, Itchy and Scratchy, are the harvesters and the tillers, and they do the job of both feeding, fertilizing, cleaning, ploughing sections of the garden. And this was built completely using recycled material, other than a few bits of staples and chicken wire. But this was an old fence that we had, and Itchy and Scratchy produce eggs for us, they produce manure for the garden, and they eat all the chojos. 5 easy tips, let's see. The first one is start small. Start small, otherwise you'll get overwhelmed. Even if you've got a lot of space, start with just 1 or 2 beds, and if you've never grown veggies before, start with just a few veggies that are easy to grow. That's tip number 2, start with ones that are easy to grow. Tip number 3, grow stuff that you're going to eat. You know, so many people land up growing things and then, they don't actually eat it, or their family doesn't eat it. You know, it's no good having lots of beetroots that you're harvesting and none of your family actually like beetroot. Tip number 4, make use of your vertical space. There's so much space that you can use when you start putting in vertical tripods and using your walls. There's so much unused space where you can actually grow veggies. And tip 5, look after your soil. All organic gardening starts with creating healthy, fertile soil.